What if Minecraft had more goat horns? About 10 months ago now, I even tried answering that myself by releasing this mod called Gins and Drought, where it included 3 new goat horns that could be found in fossil pits, which as you can see is what I'm going to be covering here today. Now while those goat horns were cool and all, they actually didn't do anything except for the normal goat horn behaviour, which means that they really weren't anything special. And since then, a lot has changed. I've actually stopped updating that mod and I've swapped over to the main mod, J's mod, where I've merged 3 of my other Vanilla Plus mods together. And so after merging the mods together, I figured why not take a look at these horns again and see what I can do to make them better. So first off, let me discuss how you actually obtain these items. So what you see behind me here is what's known as a fossil pit. These structures will actually spawn in several different biomes such as badlands, deserts, rivers, and mangrove swamps. And much like a trail ruin, these have to be dug up and excavated to be able to get access to all the treasures inside. Now the horns themselves can be found inside of these fossil pit blocks, which when brushed will give you different pieces of loot. The only thing is that they're quite rare, so I don't think we're going to be... Yeah, let's just say I found it. Alright, moving on. Alternatively, if you can't find them inside of a fossil pit, or you just can't be bothered, you can go to these structures here, which is called a trading outpost, which can be found in deserts and also badlands biomes. And occasionally, these bandits inside of here will spawn holding a horn. However, surprisingly, just like that, I didn't stage that. It just kind of happened. And if you kill them, there's a chance that they'll drop it. Which it didn't, so that's probably honestly harder than going to a fossil pit, but it's an option, so yeah. Anyhow, that's the 2 ways you can obtain the horns, so now that we've got that sorted, let's go see how they work. So while collecting these, you have a 1 in 3 chance of getting either the Amethyst Horn, the Air Horn, or the Ancient Horn, all of which have unique mechanics when you use them. And much like the Copper Horn that actually never got implemented, when you use these horns, depending on which way you look upwards, it will change the way that it sounds. Now admittedly, this is different from the Copper Horn as it only changes the pitch rather than the actual sound event itself. So first off, let's look at the Amethyst Horn, one of my favourites. So the Amethyst's main function is actually making it more visible at night when you're around near mobs. So if you're around monsters inside of dark areas such as in a cave or in the middle of the night, you can actually activate this horn and it'll show you where they are via particles. So these particles will light up and show you the whereabouts of the nearby mobs. Now you may have noticed that when I used it, it actually lost some durability, as these horns have only 64 uses before they break. This is the same level of durability as all 3 of the horns have. However, to combat this, you can actually enchant them with either Unbreaking 3 and also Mending. And you'll notice inside the tooltip it also says Amethyst Thorns, which is the secondary function of the Amethyst Horn. So let's say you're about to get attacked by mobs, and you need something to defend yourself. Obviously blowing the horn and making particles isn't going to do jack shit. So, if you actually sit there and squat when you activate it, it'll summon these new Amethyst Thorns, which will do damage to any entity that touches them. Unfortunately also yourself, so you have to be kind of careful with it. Now doing this function causes the item cooldown to last for a lot longer, so you have to time it pretty well and hope that it just gets the monsters and you don't have to worry about them. And with that, that's pretty much the entire functionality for the Amethyst Horn. So let's move on to my least favourite, the Action Horn. So this horn has the simplest piece of functionality out of the 3, where if you're standing still without squatting, it'll actually bone meal the ground underneath you. Now this will work for both grass and also things like crops. Sometimes. Now the Action Horn's second piece of functionality was actually going to address the current situation that's happening with my health bar. If you squat and use it, you'll actually get regeneration 2 for a couple seconds, and that's a good thing. Okay, next one. So this here is the Air Horn. I must say it's definitely my favourite. I'm not even going to pretend. It's so much more fun than the other 2. So the Air Horn's main functionality is actually to activate a wind charge explosion at your feet, like so. This won't boost you up, but it will push any monster around the area away from you. So for example, if I walk up to this pig, oh, there he goes. Now this is great, but let me show you what actually is fun about this. So if I grab a wooden sword or something of the type and give knockback 2 to it, and then if I walk up to an entity like so, if I activate both the wooden sword and also the horn at the same time, I can do this. Which kind of sends them quite far away. And now admittedly that doesn't look like a huge distance, but imagine being a player on the other end and suddenly just being thrown like 15 blocks away. That'd be pretty crazy for something like PvP. And as you saw in the first part of the video, if you activate this without squatting while falling, then it'll actually break your fall. So that's cool and all, but let me show you what you can actually do with this thing. So if you're squatting and also touching the ground, this will actually send a wind charge below you like so, sending you upwards. This is great that it summons the actual entity itself, because it means it works like an actual wind charge, meaning that you won't take any fall damage, and it means that you can also do this, sending yourself upwards. And as you can imagine, there's some implications to this. Oh, you're gone, mate. Using their secondary function of the Air Horn and also the mace together is a pretty deadly combo. Oh, look out, I see a bloke that wants to go. Don't. Okay, he's gone. Yeah, sick, awesome. Now that's only if you have a block below you when you activate the Air Horn. But if you do something like this, you can actually double jump. Kind of. Now basically that means that if you're falling, you can hold squat and then it'll actually push you upwards. Now this won't save you from fall damage like the normal functionality will, but it will send you upwards with a bit of extra velocity. And since it adds velocity, it means you can pull stuff off like this if you time it right. I went quite high. Okay, so yeah, that's the full functionality of the air horn. That's what it can do. As you can see, it's a little bit overbalanced, but that's alright because it's fun. So I don't care that much. Also, just want to take a second to show off what the sounds are because I put a fair bit of effort into them to make sure they're as impactful as possible. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't subscribe yet. Subscribe to my main channel. It's got way better quality content, but I just wanted to show off some of the functionality to my mod today. If you want to download the mod, it'll be in the description. I'll probably be uploading more updates on this channel in future. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.